It's the second day of the new term, a time for fresh starts and the crushing realization that you have to do this all year. Maki drags himself down the cherry blossom-lined streets, his survival fueled entirely by the presence of his girlfriend, Umi. "Maki, catch you later. Drop by our class sometime, yeah? You'd be welcome." Nozomu offered with a casual wave. "Yeah, maybe later, huh?" Maki muttered. Umi immediately issues a dire, motherly warning. "Oh, right. Maki, just so you know, don't slack off too much just because I'm not around to keep an eye on you. Don't let someone influence you into snoring through class," she instructed, pointing a stern finger to ensure total compliance. "Boo, I'm a second year now, so I can totally stay awake properly, except for math, classical literature, physics, and ethics classes," Amami protested, pouting comically as she instantly listed basically every core subject as an exception. "Amami-san, I hear that's what people generally call most of them." Maki deadpanned, effortlessly pointing out the gaping flaw in her logic. "Just keep an eye on you, okay?" Umi leaned in and whispered, delivering her quiet mandate to babysit the class angel. Maki nods firmly, accepting the mission, and enters classroom 10. He immediately registers his social standing is exactly 0. Amami is already swarmed by an adoring fan club, leaving Maki stranded on an island of isolation. "Maki-kun," Amami beamed, completely ignorant of the room's dynamic as she popped up to give him a friendly wave. The collective glare of the male student body nearly vaporizes him on the slot. He wisely opts for the coward's retreat, shrinking into his seat and staring at his phone under the desk. Fortunately, that phone connects to Umi. "What's up?" Umi messaged, prompting a highly covert cross-classroom exchange. "You good right now?" Maki typed back, seeking a digital lifeline. "Not bad, kinda good, but maybe not really not bad?" Umi playfully deflected through the screen. "Hey now," Maki retorted, the quick banter keeping him sane. "I'm fine, don't worry," Umi typed, hiding a wide, goofy smile behind her hand as they giggled silently behind their screens like utter fools. Homeroom officially begins. "All right, that's all the announcements for today. Take a 5-minute break, then we'll jump into first period," Teacher Yagisawa instructed from the podium. The quiet atmosphere is instantly murdered by the violent crash of the classroom door sliding open. Enter Arae Nagisa. The classroom falls dead silent as every head sharply turns toward the disruptive entrance. Her uniform is a disaster, and her attitude is worse. "Arae-san?" Yagisawa initiated the confrontation, her voice sharp. "Yeah, what's up?" Arae slouched, offering a lazy, unbothered response. "Don't you have something to say to me in the class?" "You do, right?" Yagisawa pressed, crossing her arms to wait for an explanation. Sorry. I was feeling sick, so I'm late," Arae mumbled, her lips twitching into a slight frown as she offered the most blatantly fake sick excuse ever recorded. "I see. Still, if you're going to be late, let me know beforehand. Yesterday, too. You didn't say anything, so naturally, I'd worry," Yagisawa countered, entirely unimpressed by the performance. "I meant to call yesterday, but I was so out of it with a fever, I guess I dialed the wrong number. Sorry, I'll be careful from now on. That good enough?" Arae rambled, scratching the back of her head as she piled on another lie. We totally believe that, especially as she shamelessly brushes off the scolding. Deciding it's not worth the energy, Yagisawa rubs her temples. "Fine. If you get it, take your seat quickly. Back row, by the window. And tie your uniform's tie or ribbon properly." "Sorry, forgot my tie today. Oh, and the ribbon too," Arae announced, pulling at her unbuttoned collar with zero remorse for the dress code violation. "Make sure you don't forget tomorrow," Yagisawa delivered her final warning with an intense glare. "Yeah, got it," Arae dismissed effortlessly. She trudges down the aisle, the sea of students parting for her as everyone subtly leans away. The classroom temperature drops to absolute 0, an intimidating aura keeping her peers sweating and quiet. "All right, let's get back on track. Arae-san, can you read page 3 of the textbook?" Yagisawa requested. "I was out yesterday, so I don't have the English textbook, or any of them actually," Arae admitted, resting her chin on her hand. "Then ask someone nearby to share. Even without a book, you're participating in class," Yagisawa suggested logically. Ah, got it. Arae clicked her tongue, finding the basic instruction incredibly tedious. She is met with a wall of averted eyes as she reluctantly scans the nearby desks. Nobody wants to get caught in the blast radius. Sensei, looks like no one's lending me one, so maybe someone else. Arae sighed, preparing to throw in the towel on her academic career for the day. Yes, Amami interjected, shooting her hand high into the air to step up and save the day because she literally cannot help herself. Sensei, if it's okay with me, I can lend Arae-san mine. Our seats are a bit far apart though, she volunteered, flashing a bright, enthusiastic smile. If you're fine with that, Amami-san, but then what about your reading portion? Yagisawa asked, slightly surprised by the sudden intervention. I'll just share with someone nearby, so it's no problem. I kinda said that without asking though, Amami reasoned cheerfully. Maki watches closely, observing the stark contrast in class dynamics as the girls around Amami instantly agree to share their supplies. Amami struts over and hands over the book with a blinding smile. So, here you go, Arae-san. Feel free to use it until you get all your textbooks sorted, okay? Thanks, Arae muttered slowly, accepting the textbook, completely disarmed by the sudden generosity. She deliberately looks down at the desk, entirely unwilling to meet Amami's gaze. Staring directly at the sun usually causes blindness after all. Lunch arrives, granting a temporary reprieve from the academic meat grinder. The group converges in the sunlit courtyard to dissect the absolute train wreck that was Arae's morning debut. Ugh, that Arae girl sure made quite the entrance. My class is pretty rowdy too, but it's way better than things going awkwardly quiet like that. Nita groans, confirming the incident was a spectacular display of social self-sabotage. The situation requires a tactical breakdown, prompting Umi to accurately diagnose Arae and Amami as water and oil. Anyway, this gives us a rough idea of what kind of person Arae is. You, lending her your textbook is fine, but you've got to be careful not to get too involved beyond that. I've got a hunch you and Arae-san might be a disastrous match, she advises, laying out the undeniable facts. If Umi's that insistent, I'll be cautious from now on, but… Amami hums, tapping her chin thoughtfully as her terminal optimism battles with sheer common sense. What? Don't tell me you're still hung up on Arae. She didn't even thank you properly for borrowing your textbook, Umi presses, her glare sharpening at her best friend's hesitation. Haha, yeah, that did surprise me, and it's still kind of bugging me. But I just can't bring myself to think, I hate her, or anything like that, Amami counters with a soft smile, steadfastly refusing to harbor a single negative emotion. Realizing the conversation is veering into dangerous territory, Nozomu executes a breathtakingly awkward pivot. Man, though, Maki and Amami-san's Class 10 sure landed in a mess. And the class match isn't even that far off, he interjects loudly, waving his hands to dispel the tension. This earns him a collective deadpan stare from the entire table. Huh? What's with all four of you staring at me? I didn't say anything weird, did I? Nozomu stammers, sweating under the weight of his own murdered mood. Back in the classroom, the true nightmare begins, as Yagisawa-sensei drops the class match roster on the board. Once you pick your event, write your name on the board. It's first come, first served, so once a slot's full, that's it, the teacher declares, turning participation into the greatest tragedy of the school year. Maki stares at the options, mentally calculating which sport requires the absolute bare minimum of physical exertion. Volleyball, softball, he murmurs to himself, weighing two uniquely terrible fates. Seeking external validation for his laziness, he covertly consults Umi via text. Maki, which one are you picking? Inquires, to which Maki swiftly types back. The one that's less tiring, if possible. Maki texts flatly. Didn't we do both in PE? How'd it go then? Start with volleyball, Umi prompts, acting as his unwilling athletic advisor. I tried tossing the ball and messed up, spraining my finger a little. Maki shoots back, citing a harrowing history of minor injuries. Softball? Umi texts, her digital exasperation practically leaping off the screen. In the outfield, I went to catch a fly ball, but I did it weirdly and sprained my finger again, he confesses, ruining the alternative just as efficiently. Guess I'll go with volleyball for now. It seems tougher, but at least it's probably safer than softball, Maki concludes, tapping send and accepting his slightly less dangerous doom. Both are fine if you practice properly, you know. Let's nail the basics so you don't get hurt, okay? Umi encourages, instantly adopting the role of a strict personal coach. Resigned to his fate, Maki trudges up to the chalkboard, only for a nameless classmate to shatter his fleeting motivation.
Aw, too bad. Sorry to say this right when you're getting motivated, but the slots just filled up a minute ago, the boy announces, gesturing to the full roster. Huh? Maki gasps, paralyzed by the realization that his slow texting just cost him his preferred mediocrity. Sorry about that. Oh, I could put you down as a substitute if you want. What do you think? The classmate offers apologetically. No, then I'll just go with softball, Maki sighs in ultimate defeat. Defeated by his own thumbs, he begrudgingly chalks his name under the worst possible column. He texts Umi the bad news. Knowing you, I kind of figured that might happen. All right, let's start with 1,000 grounders then, she replies, gleefully prescribing torture. Isn't that one digit too many? Maki counters, already dreading the weekend. Meanwhile, across the room, the girls' drafting process has devolved into a hostage situation. Arae-san, you're the last one left. If you don't have a preference, I could write you down for basketball. Is that okay? Amami asks, effortlessly trying to organize the roster. Then I'll sit out. That stuff's a drag, Arae mutters, remaining glued to her desk and utterly refusing to participate. What? No way, that's not allowed. The class match is mandatory, and since we're doing it, let's give it a shot together. It'll be fun, I promise. Amami pleads, frantically waving her hands to salvage the team spirit. Nah, someone like me would just kill the vibe, Arae retorts coldly, shooting down the pep talk. That's why it's more productive to add someone who'll double up, or throw in an extra sub, than argue over where to stick me. Even if you put me on a team, I'd probably skip it anyway, claiming I'm sick, Arae reasons, delivering a stunning display of apathy. What? Amami exhales, completely unable to process this unprecedented level of non-compliance. Running out of patience, Yagisawa-sensei steps in to end the stalemate. Too bad, time's up. And if you really skip for health reasons, fine, but I'll be calling your parents to confirm, the teacher threatens, laying down the law. Sensei, I haven't agreed to that yet, Arae shoots back, scrambling for an out. Sorry to hear that, but this is my job too. As your homeroom teacher, I'm responsible for all of you. If something's up, I'd worry, not just about you, but everyone in this class, Yagisawa-sensei lectures, leveraging her ultimate authority. Then do whatever you want, Arae surrenders, slumping entirely back in her chair. Checkmate. After class dismisses, the heavy atmosphere lingers. Sorry, Arae-san, but since we're on the same team now, I'd love to chat a little if it's not a bother. Is that okay? Amami attempts a diplomatic intervention. No, and you're in my way standing there, Arae dismisses instantly, swatting her hand in annoyance. Lame, too scared to fight me head-on, huh? Arae scoffs, packing her bag and storming toward the door. Umi and Nita arrive just in time to witness the fallout. Unwilling to accept a negative social interaction, Amami gives chase. Arae-san, wait a sec, she hollers, sprinting down the sunlit hallway. What now? Arae snaps, halting her escape to shoot an icy glare over her shoulder. There's just one thing I really want to say. After that, I won't bug you anymore. Please, Amami promises, taking a deep breath to collect herself. She doesn't ask for a truce, she just forcefully unleashes a blindingly genuine smile. Let's do our best at the class match together, Arae-san, she declares aggressively. Arae ignores her and keeps walking, turning her face away to hide behind her bangs. The message, however, is undeniably delivered. Sorry for the wait, everyone. You saw me embarrass myself, huh? Amami chuckles, returning to her friends completely unfazed. Umi immediately seizes the moment to escalate things. Just so you know, if our team faces off, I'm not holding back at all. Our class is advanced track, but we're pretty hyped for this. She grins, fiercely declaring total war on her best friend. Yep, bring it on! Amami pumps her fists, readily accepting the challenge.
Later, walking down the suburban streets, Maki and Umi iron out their weekend survival strategies. Hey, Maki, just in case, I know it's unlikely, but Umi starts, fishing for reassurance. You don't have to hedge that hard. Of course I'll stick with you on weekends as much as I can. I've already asked the store manager to shift my part-time hours to weekdays during that time, Maki guarantees, eager to fulfill his boyfriend duties. Heh, sweet. Now we can spend all weekend together. Grinding practice, right? Umi beams, happily framing his impending athletic torment as a date. So that leaves team practice, huh? We'll do some in PE, but that's not enough, right? Maki points out, noticing a crucial flaw in her logic. Oh yeah, I haven't talked to the others yet, but I think it'll be fine. I think… Umi snammers, awkwardly looking down and avoiding eye contact. Umi? Maki questions, his suspicion immediately peaking. No, it's fine, really. No issues with people. Like I said before, everyone's nice and we get along great. Just, the situation kinda threw me off more than I expected. She rambles defensively, waving her hands in a panic. Anyway, the 4 I'm closest with, the rest of my team. I'll introduce them to you properly later, Maki. So, I'd appreciate it if you could wait a little on that, Umi requests, flashing a weak smile to dodge the interrogation. If you say so, Umi, then sure, I don't mind. Maki relents, sighing in agreement. The true nature of her mysterious teammates remains safely hidden behind her bravado, but for Maki, the looming threat of extra practice remains terrifyingly real.